Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Are you as hot as me? Oh my goodness, excuse my red cheeks and my dishevelled state. It is hot. It's just gone noon. When I arrived, I've only been here about an hour or so. Other things to do this morning. I checked my thermometer in the shed. 35. What is 35 in Fahrenheit? 94. Now, listen, I know for a lot of you that is not hot, but it's hot for us. It's hot for us anyway, but it's especially hot for us in May, and it's hot when you're doing physical stuff. But gosh, it is beautiful, but yeah, a bit drippy. So, I'm going to take my hat off. I'm going to have hat hair. I don't care. Yeah, hat hair. I just thought I'd have a quick catch up with you all. I'm going to show you a couple of things in the garden in a second, but yeah, a little quickie in the shed, because last time I spoke to you, yeah, it was my total meltdown day. Oh my goodness, such a hissy fit day that was. And I kind of pinpointed in a way why I was getting so perturbed about this lack of compost. And one of the main reasons is because I'm struggling to dig. Never mind using compost on the beds. If I had compost, I could have at least got things started in pots. That would then give me time to sort out the beds. But of course I've had neither this year, which is why I'm so far behind. But thank you all for all your amazingly supportive comments. Fantastic. And thank you to those of you who so beautifully sent me some cash. That cash combined with the cash I made from selling all my lavender bags. And yes, I will get back to the sewing machine. And although in that video I said I'm going to make sewing a priority, needle and thread sewing, slight change of emphasis, because I was able to use that money to do a really big order and get delivery of a load of compost. Yay! Oh my goodness, so exciting. Yeah, I had a ring around and I found a company. They're not particularly local. They're quite a drive away. I know some of our plot holders go there from time to time as a day trip. Just on the off chance, I rang them and I explained my predicament and how I'd been let down, and the lady on the phone was so lovely. She was sort of double checking, do we deliver that far? And like, yes, we can. And then I explained it's an allotment site and we don't have an address here. How tricky is that going to be? She said, no, we can do that. And was then explaining it's normally a 3 to 5 day for delivery. And I said, oh gosh, I know you can't pinpoint the time, but can you give me a day? Because I'll have to be there to meet the truck that's going to bring all the compost, because I don't live on site. I don't even live particularly near my site. So she said, how about tomorrow? That being the Saturday. So yeah, it arrived at about... oh, excuse me. Sorry. It arrived about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's really quite hot by then already. Just as the truck was coming up the little lane, the two women who got the next door plot to me, they were also arriving. And do you know what? I didn't ask them, I didn't say anything, but they put their stuff down, rolled their sleeves up, and straight away gave me a hand to barrow it all over to my garden. It's not a hugely long way from the gate, maybe a couple of 100 metres, but it was heavy. So I was so grateful to them helping me. So that's fantastic. Yes, delighted. So 2 things just to say before we go into the garden. One, I'm a bit perturbed by the amount of plastic I've now brought into the universe by having the bags, but fear not, I am going to be using and reusing all the bags that the composters come in. I've got a few ideas. I mentioned it on my Facebook page the other day, and you were all talking about how you use your bags. Now, quite a few of you mentioned using it as ground cover for the winter. I won't. I'll stick with cardboard, just because, you know, it creates a bit of a barrier. So things like ground feeding birds, you know, insects who want to be out and about exploring, I just don't think it's a great habitat for them. But I do have other ideas, one of which I've already put into practice, so I'll show you. Yes, and the other thing, I arrived on site that day at 8:30 in the morning. Hate mornings. Just because I didn't know what time they'd be coming. And I thought to myself, well, I want to be productive, I want to do things, but I don't want to do anything that's going to wreck my knees before the delivery has arrived, because once the delivery comes, I'm going to need my knees for carting it all back to my garden. So I sat amongst my ex-brassica beds, which are just these massive now plumes of flowers. Most of the flowers were spent, actually starting to make seed heads, but I need the beds, which is why I didn't leave them in. So I sat and chopped and chopped and chopped, chopping them up fairly fine in order to help them to compost down more quickly. So I did the brassicas and the chard. Amazingly, it absolutely astonished me. It took me 3 hours to just do that one simple task. But it was great. I was sitting down, you know, it's a really tedious job, but it should add up to give me some great compost. I'm going to show you the bins in a sec too. So with the brassicas, they were somewhere between green and brown. We'll always talk in terms of compost about green material and brown material, and we want a mix of both. And with the brown material, we're tending to talk about and think about things which are sort of dead and dry, and the green material has still got a bit of juicy life to it. So it was a really good job done. I filled up my entire Dalek bin with just the brassicas, and then with my square bin I've started layering up torn up shredded cardboard, the remains from the bed coverings from the winter, where the bits that the worms haven't had. So they got torn up, shredded, layer of brassica choppings, big can soaking of water, chard, cardboard brassicas, chard, cardboard brassica, and with a good soaking in between. So hopefully I've got some of my own compost on the way. It might even be good enough that as we go into the autumn for things like the brassica beds, which will be exposed all winter, that it can go on as a really nice thick mulch. So honestly, getting that delivery, it just made such a massive change, and really gave me a bit of hope again for the garden this year. Now listen, no doubt about it, there is still a lot of really hard work to do. My plan now, so like I was saying in that other video, I was saying, right, that's it, forget the garden, forget YouTube, I'm just going to get on with sewing, needle and thread sewing. Also have to qualify which kind of sewing I'm talking about. Getting the compost made me think, yeah, maybe I can get a garden this year. So the new plan is for the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of May, I'm literally going to prep 1 bed a day. Because even though I've got masses of compost, it would only do about 2 beds, 2, maybe 3 of my little beds to be no dig. So yeah, try and do 1 bed a day and something else. So for example, sewing. So I've begun to sow my beans, I've got loads more to sow, but yeah, try and do that. If I do that for the next 2 weeks, then by the end of May, beginning of June, when all danger of frost has passed, although it seems crazy to think we could have another frost. We had that frost, it was just last week, it's mental. Anyway, yeah, then hopefully by the end of May, beginning of June, all the beds are ready for either some more direct sowing or planting. Obviously I'm bringing all my seedlings from home down here now to harden off, although frankly I think they could go out at the moment. I'm not going to risk it. But yeah, deep breath, that's the plan. So thank you all for helping with both that cash injection, but also with your words of encouragement and support. I do feel it's going to be possible to have a garden this year. Scale back. It's not going to be as productive as my previous gardens. There are going to be a few changes to the plan. For example, I don't think I'm going to be doing my bean arches over the paths and the cathedral bed. It's too much work. That's nearly 2 days work just to get the structures up. And frankly, I'm at the stage now where, never mind the structures, I need to get stuff in the ground. So, okay, so let me quickly show you this gorgeous pile of compost that you all bought. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So even before I get you to the garden, this is what I'm now doing every day as well. The plan is, like I say, dig a bed every day. And in order to come down here to do that, bring 2 more bags of seedlings from home. So that's some tomatoes, that's peppers, can't remember what, oh, I think that's probably Dulong Dilond. Do I see a loofah in there, maybe? Yes, so these bags are the perfect size to fit a little gravel tray in the bottom to carry. Fantastic. It's a bit of an effort, but it's happening. It's doable. Right, we're going to come into really, really bright light now. Honestly, it's like the height of summer at the moment. It's astonishing. Whew. I need to put those watering cans in the shade because in the sun they'll get too hot to pick up. This is what I want to show you. Right, that's the ex-brassica beds. Still got the stalks in, but never mind that. Look at that. Oh my goodness, isn't that a magnificent sight? I mean, it's hard to explain just how amazing this is, but I think you all get it. It's not a compost I've used before. It's called, what's it, New Horizon by Westlands, peat-free and organic. I've had a bag open already and I like it. And let me show you what I did with that bag because I don't want to throw any bags away. Coming round here onto the deck where I'm starting to get, oops, my bean seeds sowed. I have run out of these trays, so these cells, crikey, they need watering. These cells, they just sit on top of the, inside those trays. So obviously when I'm watering, I don't want the water to just run out everywhere and be lost. So, I don't know if you can make it out. This, let's see, it's one of the bags. And all I did, imagine that's a bag flat, I just sort of cut the front panel of the bag out, got the compost out to use it, and it pretty much perfectly fits 2 15 cell trays in there. So that's great when I'm watering. Any water that runs out straight away will get caught, and then it can gradually soak back up into the compost. Fantastic. I'm loving that. I'm going to have to get rid of the chair soon, back to the shed, because as you can see, well, I'm already running out of space on the deck. Right, now, back this way to the 2 big compost bins. So this one, like I said, oh, it's already gone down a bit. If you can make that out, that's all the, there we go, let the light adjust, that's all the brassica clippings. Wow, it's hot in this bin. So that's about half a bin full. Fantastic. And what I will do is, as this other bin goes down, I will add them. Gosh, this has gone down quite a bit already too. So you can see that's the juicy chard on the top. Actually, can you see how, there's the rim, that's already gone down, gosh, 5-6 inches, just in about 4 days. So yeah, and then also behind, you can see the sort of dregs, the scraps of cardboard. So what I'll do, shred some up, chuck it in here, get a handful of the brassicas, chuck it in here, and then I've got a bit more chard still out in the garden. Let me show you, because I hadn't quite finished the chard job when I got the phone call from the van driver to say he was here. Just stopping and enjoying this sight for a second. Beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Look at those lavenders. They're going to... Oh, the scabious flowers are out. How lovely. Yeah, I got the phone call from the van driver to say he was outside-ish. So I sort of stopped in the middle of what I was doing over here with the chard. So there's the last bit of chard there to chop up to join the brassicas and cardboard. Okay, so this is the bed I'm going to work on today. And like I said, I've been modifying my plans quite a lot. This bed is now going to be chickpea and the Bur du Rockencore beans. And I'm using a trick we all do on this site. When you first arrive on site, soak it. Give it an absolute soaking before trying to tackle it. I'm actually going to give it another soak before I tackle it. And this is literally what I'll do each day now for the next 2 weeks. Come down here and do exactly this. The previous visit, which was not yesterday was Monday, I couldn't come here, was Sunday, I did the same treatment to this bed. Oh, morning afternoon. Are you right there? A little spot of shade to cool your fur, eh? Oh, it must be tricky being so hot with such a beautiful fur coat on. So I can get myself distracted. Yeah, so this is what I did with this bed on Sunday. Soaked it. I can fork it over. I mean, you can see it's still pretty massive and lumpy bumpy, but it is loose enough now to get some seeds in, and this will be... What's going in here? Coco de Pampol. I have actually done some Coco de Pampol in pots as well as backup. And look, this is what happens when you spend all day working in the sun. It kills you. I just put this in here on Sunday to amuse my fellow plotters, and a load of the kids were doing like a sort of photo safari around the site, trying to find interesting things to photograph. So I thought, yeah, an anatomically correct skeleton of an arm and hand. Fab. Oh, let me just show you as well before I put you all down. This is supposed to be a very quickie. Shadow stuff going on, but yeah, these broad beans are almost of a size to start harvesting. What meagre amount there are. This year more than ever. I mean, I think it's something I'm always saying, but this year definitely more than ever. Oh, you're going to come for cuddle, buddy. Don't you spray my beans. Oh, you little pest. Yeah, this year more than ever, it's that lesson of, gosh, be flexible. Yeah, have a plan. Try to have some idea of what you want to do and when you want to do it. Have your seeds in order and have them ready, but, wow, be flexible. Because the best laid plans, well, look what's happened to me this year. However, that has got my juices flowing again, and I'm really, really determined over the next couple of weeks to get this garden into some sort of shape again. Oh, and if not, I'll just sit and look at this, look. Gorgeous. All right, my lovelies, that was, like I say, just a bit of a quick catch-up. By way of saying thank you to you all for your continuing support, and to just sort of explain how the plan has changed. Not just the garden plan, what's going in which beds, but the life plan. I think it's going to be really hard work over these 2 weeks, but I think I've given myself a realistic schedule. I think so. Put it this way, while the weather's like this, I'm pretty much going to have to come here every day to water, keep an eye on the seedlings. So I'm going to have to come here every day anyway. So 2 things when I'm here. I might as well, A, bring 2 more bags full of seedlings down from my house to here, and 2, I might as well try and tackle another bed. And one of the reasons I think it's realistic and doable, and it's giving me this new sense of, oh, it might happen this year, is rather than trying to think about everything and where I've been at in previous years, I'm just focusing really narrowly, doesn't make sense, narrowly, too much sun already, yeah, I'm focusing very specifically, all I'm thinking about is get a bed prepared, and then, like I said, towards the end of the month, hopefully I can have a happy few days just sowing and planting, and that's it. So yeah, I think it's doable. I'm going to try to do it. If you know, as the next few days go on, if things become undoable, that's fine. Like I was saying recently, I'll just leave cardboard down. I'll plant squash plants through the cardboard because they can just go everywhere. Great. So, thank you for bearing with me. Wow, it's hot. And hopefully, at the end of this week, so you see, you have to plan little treats, don't you? When you're sort of facing quite hard jobs, I think this is really important in life in general, isn't it? Do you remember, like, when you're revising for your O-levels and you work really, really, really hard for your O-levels, the reward, of course, is great grades, but it was also nice to get the reward of maybe a tenner from your parents for doing so well. Oh, 10 quid, buy 2 albums, fantastic. Actually, in those days, for a tenner, you could probably buy 5 albums. Anyway, stop digressing, Vivi. By the end of this week, I'm hoping to have had 1, 2, 3, 4 more beds prepped. And as a reward for doing that, I think those 4 beds I will sow at the end of this week, rather than waiting right to the end of May. If I do, gosh, there's going to be a lot of sowing going on. If I do that, I'll bring you along and share the day with you. It's nice to feel happy again. My knees are still killing me. Make no mistake, walking home on Sunday, what used to be a 7-minute walk, it's become a sort of 20-25 minute walk now, with a lot of stops along the way. But that's okay, it's doable. So, I hope wherever you're at with your gardens, the fact is, most of you are probably miles ahead of where I'm at now in my garden. I know some of you will be probably at a similar stage because you've had snow for so long. Some of you may be at a similar stage because you're making your very first garden this year and you're still preparing beds. Look, whatever stage you're at, the main thing to remember, main thing to remember is just enjoy it. Enjoy it. I've had to change my mindset a little bit this year from this is vitally important because it's all my food to it's still important because it's my food, but take the time to remember and soak up those moments that, you know, this is my happy place. So yeah, do a bit of hard graft for a couple of hours each day, and then do some chilled graft for a couple of hours, and then do nothing for a couple of hours except look at it and listen and enjoy. So on that motes of dust, on that note, please look after yourselves, everyone. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. Stay sane, and I'll see you all again, hopefully before too long. Alright, my lovelies, bye for now.